ethos of Andy, you know, and yeah.
Alrighty.
Yeah, he's you know, he was an incredible actor, and I'm so glad. I'm so glad of one thing. I'm so glad that he was so good at Spartacus that at least his son and his daughter can watch a series of their father being such an amazing man, you know, such an amazing performer. He left us all that legacy, you know, and yeah, you know, I just think that Joe LaDuca, the guy who wrote the music for our show, and the way that the visual guys made that last credit, the music and the credit, this music that's really arced up a bit, you know, it's like you were going, oh, this is interesting, they're showing all the flashbacks to all the other old characters, and then suddenly Andy, I am Spartacus! The end of the whole show. You know, come on, my friend.
Be here now. Hey, young man, what's up, dude?
My name is Vincent. My question is, what is your favorite character you have played as?
Yeah, you know, look, it's like it's become like a tapestry for me, you know, it's like I'd have to say, you know, Crixus is what gave me a career, you know, changed my life. It took me from being, you know, acting's a very tough job, kid. It's you know, I can't tell you how many times I flew to Los Angeles trying to be noticed by somebody and trying to get a job, and how many times I sat on the stairs of some little place that I was paying a rent for and eating a bowl of rice because I couldn't afford anything else. And you know, I was sitting in a zoo in a bird aviary with my daughter. I've got a daughter called Huia, and Huia was just a baby, and she was in a pram in front of me, and I was thinking to myself, how am I going to survive this life and be a father and be a provider? And the phone rang, and I answered the phone, and it was this guy called Rob Tappert, who was my producer for Spartacus, and he went, "Mano, this is Rob Tappert here. We really love your audition for Crixus, but I worked with you 10 years ago on Spartacus, on Xena, and you were in a sword fighting scene, and you were hitting our stunt guys." I did this episode of Xena where I played Mark Antony, and the swords were rubber, and so I said to the stunt guys, "Let's just hit each other." We were whacking each other, and the safety officer came on and said, "Stop, stop, stop, you can't do that, you can't do that." We were like, "Oh, okay." But yeah, Rob said, "Listen, you can't hit Andy Whitfield, you can't, you're not allowed to hit our Spartacus. You gotta promise me that, otherwise I can't offer you the role." And I was like, "Okay, I promise." So, and that's how I got offered that role. And so yeah, so that was the beginning of my career, my friend. That was the defining role of my life. You're traveling the world in Philadelphia, meeting wonderful people who give me the honor of being told I'm a good actor or whatever, you know. And it was Crixus. Crixus gave me the opportunity to branch out and be a part of this world as an entertainer. And thank you for the question.
I've been waiting to fight for the haka dance.
Hey, brother. Go ahead.
So you're going to show me how to do the helicopter and breakdancing, but I want to see the haka.
The haka? Well, you know.
We'll go before you go.
I'll get to it. I know why you want me to do it, but we'll get to it. He's a very good friend of mine over there. He and his family, just fans. We met on Facebook, and they were very complimentary. And I met him and his lovely wife Mary Bell and their kids in New York when I was in New York recently. So, hey guys. Hey.
Awesome. Hi, young lady. You got a question?
Yes. You did an amazing job on Arrow. You're one of my favorite characters on that show. And I was wondering if you read any comic books to prepare for that role, or maybe you were inspired by something else.
I'll tell you how this all happened. I was in Kuwait for Spartacus. We went to visit the US troops there. And just by chance, I decided to go to Los Angeles on the way home. I was going to fly back to New Zealand direct from Dubai or something. And some of the other cast were going to Los Angeles, so I said, oh, I'll come that way. So I changed my ticket and I flew to Los Angeles just for like 5 days or something, 4 days, 5 days. And on the last day that I was there, my manager rang me and she goes, hey Manu, do you want to go in to read for this thing called Arrow? And I was like, oh, my flight's this afternoon. She went, oh, what time? And I was like, well, I'm flying at 4. And she said, well, I think I can get you in at like 11 a.m. Can you get there by 11 a.m.? And I was like, sure. She said, okay, well, look, just go in there. The sides in there, you just have to read it when you get in there. So I went in there, and I started reading these sides, and it was this military guy getting this guy in a headlock. And when I was in Kuwait, I'd met these guys from the Special Forces, and one of them had actually got me in this stranglehold and almost knocked me out. I was grabbing his nuts as hard as I could. Because he was a tough guy. All the guys said over there that he was the badass of the Special Forces, this guy. And so he wanted to take out pictures there. He almost did right me by the nuts. He told me that his nuts were sore for hours But I got in for this audition, and the scene said that I had this guy in a chokehold. So I said to the director, "Can I have the reader stand in front of the camera with me? Can I actually hold him in the chokehold, you know, and do the scene over his shoulder like this?" And so Rick was like, "That was the biggest mistake of his life." So he came over in front of me and I grabbed him and I started getting into this scene and I just wanted it to be real. In Spartacus, I love to be real. I love to get Crixus really into the character. I love to get into the character. So I had this guy and I was like, and you know the opening scene in Arrow where I dropped through the roof and I grabbed Stephen and Mel around the neck? It was that scene, right? So I grabbed him around the neck and I said something about, tell me the truth or I'll cut your throat or something like that, you know. And I'm holding this guy, and suddenly he just went limp. And he collapsed on the floor, unconscious. This is my audition, man. Is that part of the audition? And the director went, no, I think he just made it. Okay, mate? Are you okay? And he went, oh, did you pass it out? I passed it out. And so the director's like, hey, somebody take him into the bathroom, I think you better wash his face. And so they took him out of the room, and I went, I'm sorry, man, I didn't realise I was squeezing him that hard. And I honestly thought the director was going to kick me out of the room. And the director went, it was good. Come here. We've got behind the monitor, we replayed it on the screen, you saw this guy's eye go. And I left the room, and I went, oh, wow, that was different. And the casting director, as I went out, said, it was fantastic. And I went out and I rang my manager and I said, I choked the guy out. And she went, what? Michael, we just got a phone call from the casting director and he says that you're really in for a chance for this. And anyway, before I even got on the plane, there had been several phone calls made and there was something about an offer, pending. So I got on the plane and I was actually on the plane to go back for the Hobbit premiere in Wellington. So I went back and I went to the Hobbit premiere, and then the morning after I woke up and down in Wellington to my manager calling me with a big night. So I was like, oh, look, Jim, you're going to be on a plane tomorrow to fly to Canada to do Arrow. Now, all I knew, darling, was that I was playing a military guy. I had no idea, and in the audition his name was, no, it wasn't, but in the audition his name was something else. I can't remember what it was, but it was just some general name, okay, like Bill Smith or something, right? And so I fly to Vancouver, and as soon as I got off the plane, I turned my phone on, this message was coming through from my manager calling, so I rang up, and I was standing in the immigration line, and she goes, Manu, CW have already released a report about who you're playing. And so I looked it up, and it said, Manu Bennett cast as Slade Wilson. And I said, they've made a mistake, I'm playing like Bill Smith. This is crazy. And she's going, oh, that's strange. I'm going, yeah, who's Slade Wilson? Honestly, I'm not, that's not the name, I've got it wrong. And then she went, oh, well, it's called Deathstroke or something. And I went, Deathstroke? And then the guy behind the immigration counter went, are you playing Deathstroke? And I went, I don't know, man. Who's Deathstroke? And he goes, dude, Deathstroke's like the best. And I'm like, all I know is I choked the guy out. And yeah, then I went and met all the people at the production office, and they told me I was playing Slade Wilson, and they didn't say Deathstroke, and nobody's saying Deathstroke yet. Deathstroke's kind of like this hush-hush word still. But look, see, I've been playing this guy just as a military guy. The way that I like to act is I like to play what's on the page, and I don't like to project. So I've just been playing this character on this island with this kid. And but when I was at the Comic-Con in Ottawa a couple of weeks ago, I met a guy who had all the Deathstroke comics, and I just bought them all. And I've been delivered to my place in Vancouver, and I haven't been back there in 4 weeks because I've been running around doing all these different things. So I'm going to get back there in 2 days' time. There's going to be like 200 comics of Deathstroke waiting for me, or whatever. I'm not saying Deathstroke. I'm not allowed to say Deathstroke. No Deathstroke. But I'm going to read Deathstroke and find out who that guy is in detail, because, you know, yeah, if I do happen to become. But I'm going to get ready for it, darling. I won't let you down, I promise.
There you are.